Please. Please.
Howdy, y'all.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Mechs on Deck. It is Monday, July 13th.
Hell yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit tired because I went to bed at like 7 a.m.
I'm a little tired, but that's just, the nature of the beat. I mean, I did go to bed at like 4 and then woke up at 7:15 or 7:30, but early to bed, early or late to bed, early to rise. That's the life of a healthy life. And apologies for like apologies for starting like 2 minutes late. We were discussing some keyboard of the week stuff, and it was like, of course, the best ideas come at like 8:09, 8:10. So it'd be like that sometimes. So
Exactly. Shout outs to Brez. Thank you for the 11 months. Appreciate that, as well as Draft Profit. Thank you for the 4 months. Saying howdy, y'all. Appreciate both of those. Yeah, it's been an interesting week. We have a lot of stuff that has happened in the past week. We had some really cool things happen in the community this past weekend. If you are aware, we talked about it last week. But Alex Otos and Mentorly did a charity stream this past weekend for 24 hours. It was a lot of cool times, a lot of cool conversations that were happening. I got to watch Mentorly talk to Latrialum Meka, which was an awesome conversation because I'd never had the opportunity to see that. It was cool, as well as seeing Alex build a couple boards and play some Call of Duty, looking like he was struggling to stay awake. But hey,
hey, it be like that. He took the overnight shift.
He did. Although I was very surprised that Mentorly took the morning shift. I know that she was not happy to be up so early, and then she didn't eat for a little bit. So hey,
yeah, food and hydrate, man. You got to plan that. We actually, whenever we do 24-hour streams, that's like a food thing because my wife, very fortunate, my wife's able to make amazing food. We like that. We spend like a day planning. My wife and I spend a day planning like what we're gonna eat because Osiris is like just the nutty nuts, just not that. Other than that, we're good. And so typically we plan like Italian food, but not super heavy. And we spend a lot of time planning the food we're gonna eat and when we're gonna eat it. Because you gotta stay fed and hydrated. Nutty nuts, absolutely.
yeah, no pecans, almonds, or walnuts. Those are a no go. But what about you, Chewy? How was your week? I feel like I haven't really talked to you much since like Wednesday.
Man, I've been playing Warzone all day long with our mod Will, with our mod Brez and Lang and Lang's brother, and just hanging out, man. It's been I've been watching a lot of Reno 911. Fantastic show. It's definitely a little bit not as PC as it could be. It wouldn't last 2 episodes in today's world, but it's a classic. It's a classic, I think. But no, I've been good, man. I'm just hanging out. We're trying to. Oh yes, and of course. Well, you are not a Warzone bro, Abracadaniel. You are a Warzone homie, a Warzone lady friend. If you guys don't know this, my Abracadaniel is my wife. So, but yeah, so it's been chill. I've been I guess I've been kind of low profile. I've been talking in our Discord a little bit, but I just haven't. I had one of those what's it called? Introverted weeks. I'd ride the line between extroverted and introverted, and it's very easy to tell when I'm introverted and extroverted based on my answers to questions. So
Absolutely. I know how that goes. I've spent most of my week hanging out. I spent some time with family again. Trying to do that a lot when I've got extra time. Spending a lot of time over with my parents, my baby nephew, my brother. But yeah, things are still crazy out there. World's still nuts.
It is. Yeah, we won't go too much into it, but wear your masks, stay safe, stay home if you can, make smart decisions.
Yeah. Texas seems to have a hard time with that, but you know what? Hey, we'll figure it out, I guess. Maybe at some
We'll
point.
get there. We'll get there.
But with that being said, Chewy, what is on your desk today?
I can toss this around because it's super light. This is the I call it the SM60. It doesn't actually have a name because it's just a acrylic 60% Winculus case. It's got the little Mechs on deck logo. You can line that up with the light.
There you go.
Cool little board. He's been selling a lot of stuff. His order form did open up today. I don't know how long it lasted. But yeah, it's I highly recommend it. It's got 89 gram creams. It sounds really good. Super light on the desk. Been really enjoying it. So it's I usually switch right after what's on your desk though. It's kind of funny. Like this is what I've been using since like Wednesday or Thursday, and then I usually switch like right after stream. So but yeah, creamy creams. Kinnick typing on creams. Hell yeah, dude.
For me,
cannot recommend enough.
For me, I haven't switched. I'm still rocking the Baca. Same thing I was using last week. Baca with GMK olive, with the lilac switches that are lubed and filmed, the OD green Cerakote. I just enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. I've been thinking about switching to my Bauer. I thought about it today about moving the Bauer in, taking this out, but I want to make some adjustments to my Bauer. I want to change the springs. I think that I want to make it a little bit heavier. So I need to pick up some springs to do that for those, to get the not mauves. Are they mauves? Yes, they're mauves. Can't remember.
JWK linears.
JWK linears. But other than that,
they're about to not be mauves now that you're changing the springs.
True. They'll be mauves, but with heavier springs. But other than that, I did actually get some mail, which, from what I was told by Mr. Quakums, these were originally going to be sent to us forever ago, but hey, they got here finally. These are some PBT keycap samples from Canon Keys. Nothing crazy. Interesting that they did the whole Coca-Cola one. But hey, you know what? They look pretty nice. So I'm excited to kind of try these out on a board. I got to use it on a board that is a 6.25 spacebar, but
an ANSI.
Yeah. So we'll see.
I think I have one PCB lying around that has ANSI capabilities.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah. So at some point I'll do that here soon and check these out, or I'll just give them to Chewy and make him do it.
I mean, I like Coke Zero. Coke's a bit too sweet for me, but Coke Zero is nice. I enjoy Coca-Cola, so.
Hey, you know what? I'm a fan of the Coke as well.
ATL, man. But no, it's cool to see. We're starting to see a lot of vendors branch out to start doing kind of their own keycap stuff. So we've got TKC doing Infinikey. They've been doing that successfully, and that's been pretty popular. Canon Keys trying to do their own PBT line. Obviously, we've seen recently Novel Keys doing not only their own profile, but then there's some PBT caps for themselves as well. So it's good to see. We're kind of branching away from GMK. As many of you know, obviously the wait times on GMK are getting a little bit redonkulous, if you will. And so, yeah, it's one of those. It's the nature of the beast, right? It kind of happened to Signature Plastics a while back when SA was like really popular. Everyone wanted to set through SA, and then SA wait times got to be ridiculously long. And I feel like that settled down some, but now because everyone focused on GMK was always quick and easy to turn around. And then when you throw 6,000. When you throw 1 month of orders can cover their entire fiscal year of 2018. It changes things a little bit.
Yeah, it is. It still blows my mind that we are regularly having sets that are adding a zero. They're adding another place. They're moving the decimal point one more zero over.
Just
as opposed to what was
growing.
happening 2 years ago. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. I think Modern Dolch finished over 5,000, close to 6,000 if you included Mist. It's just like, that is nuts. Like, and you think about just like the amount, like just the revenue of that is just insane too. Like, wake up and you just, oh, hey, it's a couple $100,000 that people spent on keycaps.
Yep. Plastic.
On plastic.
ABS plastic.
But people are moving away from it. We'll get into it. We actually, Wilson posted some pictures in our Discord that we'll take a look at from some issues with drop white on black here in a second. But we have a couple other things, some cool things we want to get into. Or, well, do you want to do the spice, the bad, or do you want to talk about the
we could start with the spice. It's not really. This is kind of one of those, like, sometimes spice can be argued with a little bit, right? Like, spice can kind of. There's not really a devil's advocate for this one. This is just a shitty thing that someone did. So why don't you take us through what happened?
So, as we talked about before, this past weekend, there was the Mentos, Alex Otos Mentorly stream supporting I Don't Mind, which is for mental health organizations. They had a silent auction as well as you could donate, and the proceeds would go towards that organization and help them out. They had some really, really, really cool stuff. A lot of artisans, a TMO 50V2, a Art Key Sirius, which I know a lot of people were very, very excited for and wanted. And then one of the main prize, the granddaddy of them all, was the polycarbonate Iron 165, which polycarbonate was not a publicly available finish for the Iron 165. It was something that there was only a couple that were made. And so it is a sought after piece because it's one of very few. And there were some shady things that happened with it.
Yeah, so like Osiris said, it's very limited. The polycarb was offered to friends. So this person who eventually won it, they're going to be one of the only people that was not a part of this very small little side order of Iron 165s that are in polycarbonate. So for those who don't know, auctions, it's simple. You bid money and the highest bidder gets the prize. So the final bid was $5,000. So thinking about that, okay, $5,000 is a fuckload of money for a keyboard. Unfortunately, there are people in this world who I guess thought that was funny or thought that was, I don't know what their intention was. Maybe it was to gain more hype, but they didn't pay. They didn't pay the $5,000, which is like shortchanging a charity is already just like a really fucked up thing to do. But it's basically kind of lying. I mean, it's lying. At the end of the day, it's lying. It's saying you're going to pay this much for something and not doing it. Eventually, it sold to, I guess, the next person. It was like $3,600. Still a crazy amount for a keyboard. Mind you, it's for charity, so there are other things that you can do. And you're getting to donate a lot of money to charity, but you're also getting something in return, which is nice. But it's kind of, Ukulele Dad, what's up? It's kind of just a shitty thing, right? Like, we've seen it in the Twitch world too, where people will make these big donations only to like charge back so that they don't get the donation. But yeah, it's like there's that meme. It's like everybody really liked that. It's like everybody really did not fucking like that.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things. It's just really messed up to do it. Like it's one thing to like if someone gave us like an $1,000 donation on stream, right, and then charged it back, like it would be like, oh, okay, like I wouldn't be super upset. The thing about this is this was for charity, right? Like your money's not going to someone that is like streaming. Like this is not someone's job. This is going to help people who have mental health issues, right? Like people who are struggling with like anxiety and depression and among hundreds of other things that people struggle with mentally. And for someone to go in and say that they were like say that they could pay for something and then just not even when it comes time to pay it, they're just like, oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna pay it.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about sorry, some people in chat are asking what we're talking about. On the Alex Odos and Mentally charity stream this past weekend, someone had committed to a $5,000 purchase for the Iron 165, and then they did not pay that, and then it ended up going less, which is $3,600 is still a lot of money, but it's just like,
why
you do that? Like why commit to buying something and then you don't pay? Like that's frustrating.
It's just dumb. I mean, and we've seen this isn't the first time we've seen not paying for stuff like invoices and stuff like that. Jeff Leopard kind of brings up a good point that wouldn't really care if it wasn't for a charity. No, you're right. Key Colt, I know Key Colt does this. I know artisans deal with this all the time where somebody wins but then never actually pays their invoice. It's kind of the same thing where it's like, why did you enter if you didn't even plan on buying it? Like, because at that point you're kind of just taking away from someone who could potentially have won. This is different. It's an auction, so you're not really taking anything away when you're not buying it. But you know, there is that thought of, okay, well, what if someone was willing to bid 4,000, right?
Yeah.
And then, but they see the $5,000 bid and they're like, well, I'm not going to bid 4,000 anymore, or 4,500, or even 4,900 because I'm already outbid. So why would I do this? And so now you've actually just robbed the charity from being able to make an extra $1,400.
Yeah, or someone the opportunity of getting a board that they were really wanting and they could afford, and maybe it was 5,000, like you said, 5,000 was above their limits, but you know, 4,000 wasn't.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah, and then that's $400 that's not going into the hands of people that can really make a change in the world. So, but yeah, Smack and Jay, that's pretty much on point. But I guess at least the toilet paper is going to the assholes, right? So I think that, you know, this is, like I said, this, it's not as much spice as much as just like, to whoever that person is, fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a sincerest up yours.
Yeah. And with what Mineral said, I feel like, so he's like talking about like the idea of like shill bidding, which was like a big deal when eBay first started, where people would just, you know, you get your friend to go bid something to try to see what someone's max bid was, and then hope that they outbid you, and you just keep doing that to try to raise the price. I don't know if something like that was going on, which I severely doubt that that's what was happening. I don't think that it would have come out, this situation, like they would have like held it more internally, right? Like if the people in charge knew what that was happening, they wouldn't be outspoken saying, yeah, some dude bid $5,000 and then didn't. Hey, I need to poo. Thank you for the follow.
I didn't see the follow immediately. So I thought you were just saying that. I was like, all right, we'll be right back. But yeah, it's just it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, right?
It
so
does.
like I said, it's not the first time. Hopefully, it's the last time. But as the community gets larger, the people that make this community more troublesome, and the people that are not as community driven as they could be will start to enter this hobby and start thinking for themselves and all that stuff. And it's it's the nature of the beast, right? The bigger you get, the more haters and the more people show up that have bad intentions. And I guess it's a sign of growth, right? I mean, regardless, at the end of the day, a keyboard that is not a key cult sold for $3,600
Yeah.
during an economic crisis.
Yeah. Yeah, which is interesting because I was talking to some people and I was like, I wonder what this is going to do to the aftermarket prices of the Iron 165 because we've seen this with other boards, right? Where there's like a Victory auction or it's like a charity thing where it sells for a lot more money than the initial sale. And more often than not, those Victory auctions are like a different version. Like with the Bauer, for instance, the Victory auctions were a different model that was not available on the standard edition for the buys that were run before.
Yeah.
So I wonder, but what we've seen with the Bauer specifically is that the stock boards, the boards that were sold, just the standard options, still flip for just as much, if not more, than the Victory auction price. So I'm interested to see how that will affect if people who are looking to sell their Iron 165s will take the 3,600 for the PC one and say, oh, well, mine's worth $3,000 now, because we already saw $2,000 postings before.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hope it doesn't, because realistically, I don't think the board is worth that much. Like it's a fantastic board, but that's
Oh God, I'm sorry.
like,
I'm sorry.
Come on,
Keyboards are not worth $3,600.
Yeah.
Like people. Anyway, so that leads us into this next topic. We've talked about it before. We're going to talk about it again, guaranteed, because it's just part of our hobby. The growing rate of boards on Mech Market. We saw. Now, full disclosure, it was a full kit of GMK Mizu, which
I don't
at
care.
Group I is still like $250. All right, that's still $250 for the full kit. All right, like $220, $250. Okay, that's fine for the full kit. Thinking, okay, what's reasonable to me? $350 for if I'm getting the full kit, accents, 40s kit. If you're looking for all of that, not willing to celebrate or separate it. GMK Mizu went for $650 today or yesterday. I can't remember exactly which day it was. So yeah, that's crazy that Mizu just got a huge mark of like, hey, this is how much this is worth. While once again, the 40s kit was thrown in that. And if you guys don't remember, Mizu 40s kit was a really strange add-on because it actually ran right after the group buy finished. But still, like a keycap set, a GMK keycap set that's not Olivia or Serica going over $500 is crazy.
Yeah.
It's that, and they're Jeff Leopard. There are people, unfortunately, there are people that will go in, make two different accounts and say, I sold it. We don't know if that's real. Maybe they're just trying to inflate the price to make like, sadly, some people will go, oh, I'll put it up for $650, say it's sold, and then I'll sell mine at $500, and people think they're getting a good deal. And it's like, it's kind of not even kind. That's a really fucked up and shitty thing to do. But this could have been completely true as well.
It's one of those things, like with the way that any kind of market style like this works, is there's always people who just sell things at the current price, and then someone who push it up. Right? Like someone who pushes it higher. Serica, realistically, from a pure numbers standpoint, Serica should sell for more than Mizu for the fact that there are significantly less Serica sets than there are Mizu.
And it's older.
But when there are people who push the price up and there are people who just sell it at what it's at, right? This guy's obviously trying to push the price up. There have been people that had sold Mizu. There was a guy that sold Mizu for like 580 or 550, and it was like literally everything, including like the desk mat, the Rama
the
cap.
full,
It was the full Mizu experience,
yeah.
which still super high price in my opinion. But this guy and everything was sealed in his set.
And I will give
That
you
does provide
sealed
value.
will always give you a like solid 15% bump because at the even if you break the seal, that's kind of, I mean, it's like with everything, right? You drive the car off the lot, you open up the shoebox and try it on. You know, you're not going, that's going to add a bunch of value to it. But I mean, I love Mizu. Mizu's, I think I need to look up my MK rank. If you guys haven't checked out mkrank.com, we are not sponsored, but it's a cool ass website.
Yeah, it is.
But I think I have it at like, yeah, I have Mizu at 3. I love Mizu. I think it's a great set. I don't think any set that I own is worth $650.
I don't think there's any set period GMK set that's worth $650. There might be some older SA sets that could be worth much more just based on the fact that there's so few of them.
Yeah. Like SA camping, I could see going and being like, okay, but I'm the OG Calm Depths. That's another. Yeah, it's where you know, that's where age plus scarcity is coming into factor. But Mizu sold a pretty darn well, and for going that much, like, and that's something like I'm not gonna sell Mizu. I like it too much. If I'm selling a keycap set, I'm selling it at a reasonable freaking price. But I would never go buy it for that much, right? I wouldn't sell it for that much. I would never ever buy it for that much. You know, SA Nautilus and SA Olivia, those are, you know, very different cases because like Olivia was basically private. They had a few spots open. SA Nautilus, I mean, that was one literally where they said like you can't sell this for 6 months. But without having any sort of like you can't sell this for 6 months or like you'd be banned from ever buying anything from them again.
Yeah, we were talking about SA Olivia Zoomwalt, not GMK, because GMK obviously open. SA Olivia was a private buy and then was shifted into where a couple slots were open to the public, and it was like a minute and a half and they were gone. So it was a very private thing for a majority of the run until it was opened up for just a few slots. But yeah, it is insane to me to think that like these sets are selling for more and more. And like, I don't know, you would think that people would just have a little bit more, would sell things for just not an insane amount. Like we've talked about before, a reasonable markup of, you know, maybe 15, 20%, hell, even 25, 30 is somewhat of a reasonable markup on something, but like well over 100 into 2-3 times is like
for used things too. This guy's like, I opened it up and that's used.
He opened it up, took pictures, and then wants to sell it.
Opened it up. That's used. That's the definition of used. It's not.
This dude's just trying to farm karma.
Yeah, like, whew. Anyway, so as we've seen, these prices are going crazy. The iron was big. We talked about the iron 165. I mean, most people saw that coming from a mile away. I don't think people saw the standard edition going for 2,000. That, you know, we kind of figured, oh, the FE version that will go for a lot. I didn't think the standard would ever really break 1,200, 1,300. But and we don't know. We don't have the confirmed guy saying I bought it for 2,000. But that's still a lot. But so a couple weeks ago, I actually did a little Chewy on the patio. No one other than Osiris understands that reference. But I did a little Chewy on the patio and reached out to a couple different board vendors with Dixie, Key Colt, L Baron from Smith and Rune of the Iron 165, as well as Drifting Bunnies from who designed the Austin. And I just started gauging. I wanted to ask them. We talked about to Keycold about this back in December, but it's really gotten crazy in the last 6 months. And so I got some kind of official statements. Just we're not trying to pick them apart. I didn't say you have to make this the most official thing in the world. Although Dixie gave me a very professional response. But I'll read the first one. Cyrus, I sent you one on Discord for the Iron guys. So Drifting Bunnies, who made the Austin. The Austin is a full size keyboard. It's similar to the 1800 layout, but it's a little bit wider for the 2U 0 key on the number pad. Says, I think it's natural to wish that you could have used some of that profit into your own board, but I think it just means there's still plenty of demand to keep selling more of it. It also makes it not very surprising if you raise your prices for the next round. So great answer. Makes sense, right? It's like, okay, well, now I feel like I can raise the price like $50 because if people are willing to pay double for this board, adding $50, $60, $70, padding your wallet a little bit, what's that allowing you to do? That's allowing you to buy more extras to get more people out to make sure the quality control's better. That's a good thing in my opinion. That's, if someone's like, if you have a really successful board and people are paying lots of money in the aftermarket and then they're going, hey, I want to raise the price just a little bit more and I can raise this price more to get a lot more things and we can run these much larger group buys, that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So the one Chewy sent me is from Mr. L Baron from Smith and Rune, which you should go check out their merch. They got some pretty sweet merch over at smithandrune.com. But he says, this is about the Iron 165. Personally, I don't mind. Buyers set the price, not the sellers. I think people are hypocrites for saying our board can't spike in price, but a 910 can go for $2,500 plus. No issue just because it's a TGR. And, oh, you mean that side seam board that probably costs about $150 to manu? Little shot at TGR, but hey, you know what? It's 2017, 2018 design. And then he says, it's cool because it means we built a board people want, and I built a good brand. It sucks though, because it means a lot more people will be attracted to them for the sole purpose of flipping for a profit instead of extras going to those that really want them. I bet we have 1,000+ people enter for extras. Had there been 0 r/mech market posts from Iron 165, probably half of that amount. I think he was exactly right in that. And I know they had over 1,000 people on the extras. It is interesting because that is one thing that we talked about when that first 2,000 post did. There was a lot of conversation on that r/mech market post, saying there was a bunch of people saying, well, oh, it's not a TGR, oh, it's not a key cult, and it's like, well, why are they not able? Is no one able to reach that point anymore? Right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's not like Key Cult has been around the community they're not OTD, right? Like they haven't been around for forever. They've only really been in the community for 2 to 3 years. And even then, the first couple ones that they did were not near the quality that they do now. And so it's like, people can make a great product. And the guys, the Smith and Rune guys have put so much work into that. So much work. Like a lot of R&D has gone into the creation of that board. It's one of the few times I've seen a board manufacturer get every finish and every option prototyped multiple times. It's like, I don't know. I felt a 910. I built a 910. And I was just like, Like it's not that good.
Good. It's good. It's not $1,200, $1,500, $2,000.
It's one of those things. I feel like if you're going into it if you are new, right? Like say you're someone that's just like you're coming in, you want to spend all out, right? You're trying to get the best thing available. You spend $2,000 on a 910, or you can spend $2,000 on an iron. You're gonna have a way better experience on a super high quality keyboard by going with an iron than a TGR.
Absolutely. I mean, that's yeah. It's that. I mean, down to the PCB, man. The PCB was garbage. You had to put like a washer on it because it literally couldn't support the.
True.
Yeah, that was anyway. I think who was a Zoom wall does bring up a fair point, which is if you are new, you run it kind of at a discount. You don't run it for huge numbers because you are asking people to take a risk. But the second they prove themselves, which Smith and Rune I think just proved themselves greatly, that hey, not only can we do this, but we did it great. I expect the 180 to be 10, even more popular. The TKL is, I would pretty much neck and neck with the 65% in popularity right now. I think those are the two most popular layouts at this time. And so I think the TKL is going to go for a lot. I think it's got a lot more attention now. I don't think the Iron 165 had nearly as much attention back in, I guess, October. September, October. I know that, it was released, but it definitely didn't have the hype that it had. So, and then one thing you said earlier, which I totally agree with, which is like, well, it can't be a key cold, it can't be a TGR. You guys let key cold into that conversation within the last year and a half. Why can't you let Smith and Rune into the conversation now? And I'm not saying that as someone who is partnered with Smith and Rune. I'm saying that as someone as you guys should be letting people who make great boards should be allowed into this, this room of keyboards that are known as the best boards in the community. And I think Smith and Rune just showed, hey, we can make a board that good.
Well, and also like if you think about it, shouldn't you want more companies to be striving to get into that key cult level, right? I mean, look at what Key Cult has been able to do this past year. They've been able to go full time. They've been able to purchase their own machine, their own CNC machine to be able to manufacture their own boards. They've been able to just really dedicate themselves to the board, to making it better. They've manufactured way more than they did before.
Yeah.
And I foresee that eventually what will happen as they start making more and more, the pricing will go down, at least on the aftermarket. And it's like, that is what you want. By Keycolt, by all these other brands pushing to get into it, because at the end of the day, an Iron 165 at group buy price of $475, still less than a Keycolt.
Yep.
Like,
it's less than a Keycolt 60.
Yeah.
Which is technically cheaper. It's just interesting because, we kind of went through, I felt like the Bauer didn't have as much, but I know people kind of got all up in arms with the Vickery auction going for that much, but and Type Beast does bring up a good point. It's not about, at this point, it's not about vendors, it's about boards, right? It's about how many. If you can prove yourself on multiple boards with multiple layouts, then you put yourself in Keycolt territory. But someone else brought up, I'm trying to look up who was it. But who said it was just like the one board.
What is
it?
It
might have been Zoomwalt. It might have been Zoomwalt who just said basically it was, well, this is one board. Keycolt's been doing it for years. The hobby's changed. The community is vastly different. And we're growing on the foundations that TGR and Keycolt and other people that have really pushed the community further with design. We're growing off those foundations, but now we're seeing the fruits of all that labor, right? We're seeing these amazing boards being able to come out because somebody looks at something and goes, that's great, I can do better.
Right. Well, and we've also seen like in, for instance, Keycolt, right? Like a design style translates from a 60 to a 65 to a TKL, right?
Yeah.
Like it maintains, can maintain the quality between the three options that are all different. Why can't Smith and Rune do the same thing? Why can't they make a 75 and a TKL and a who knows, 1800 or a 60, like they can do that. They poured the time and the effort to work in and make sure that the iron 165 was great. I don't have any doubt, especially knowing that, because I know that the Smith and Rune guys are going to be looking at all this and know what level of expectations will be on the iron 180 because of all of this. As well as like Dixie with Bauer the 75 that he kind of dropped a little hint about here on our stream a couple weeks ago. You know, I know that these people, they're not just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to do whatever I want. They understand the pressure that's now on them because of the way that the boards are regarded.
Yeah. So it's, and to go along with Dixie is someone else who kind of gave off this. And Dixie, I feel like, is in this strange world on his own, right? Because he's not only is he a big vendor, but he's a board designer and then runs this through Dixie. It's kind of the complete package of like everything. I hate Dixie. I don't know what I'm talking about.
You're slightly off there. You got to take another one with the Dixie logo right on the center.
Sorry, here we go.
Right.
I can't stand Dixie, and I would never support him. Okay, I love you, bud.
Wait. One more. I gotta get you big.
For the right flavor, try Dixie.
All right, we got it.
All right, cool. Thanks. Send that yacht ticket our way. Dixie says, seeing our boards sell for many multiples of the MSRP price is a little crazy. I always knew there was a chance it would happen because it's just what happens with all boards, but I did not expect our board to be one of the boards in the upper echelon of the aftermarket. It is an honor in a weird way that people want to pay that much for something I designed, and really helps validate all the time I put into making my design a reality. So this is an answer I really enjoyed, because it's the one we've had people talk about it before, right? But the validation from seeing this happen is fantastic, right? It's like, cool. Obviously, I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm doing something right. That's going to give you motivation to continue, right? That's going to give you motivation to push forward, to try something different, to do something better. And I think that's brilliant. I think that's, I think it's perfectly said that, like, well, yes, would everybody love a kickback if the board sold for 3 times as much and you get some more money from that? Yeah, it'd be great, because who doesn't like money, right? But at the end of the day, that's just how shit goes, right? I can go to Eric and give him $20 and he can sell that $20 bill for $40 for whatever reason, and then come back and go, look what I made with this. I can't. It's like,
that's just good business.
Exactly. Like, you just, like, some people are able to turn money into money, right? And to more money. And so I think, don't look at it as a negative, look at it as a positive to kind of keep going. Take some from what Drifting Bunny said, take something from what Dixie says, and say, now, I'm doing the right thing, and now maybe I can tweak my prices just a little bit more, and now I can start doing cooler things with it. Now I can start offering maybe some different finishes, maybe some more polycarbonate options. Maybe I can take a few more risks at buying even more extras. And there's no telling what you can do with this extra capital. That's the whole point of this. Everyone's like, oh, I want stuff to be in stock. We're never going to be in stock unless we pay more for boards now.
Yeah. Well, and I think I've seen the push, right? There's been a couple people talking about how, oh, well, crazy aftermarket pricing is going to push people making more and doing more stock. I think your thought process is founded, I think, in in an okay place. But the thing is in reality, it's not just, they're not only making so many because they want to just keep it as small as possible, right? They're making smaller numbers because that's what they can handle, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what realistically makes sense for them to be able to process at one time, right? Like, you are doing Baca, you just increased it from 50, or well, Squid 60 now. You just increased it from 50 to 70 slots because
Yeah.
you're like, okay, well, we've got a little bit more interest. I want more people to get it. It's now we're going to increase it 20, but that is still 70 boards is still barely what you could handle in the place where you live. Like, not all these vendors have giant warehouses to store things, like, because
it's
the level the level that people are selling things to is like, with you're not just getting the board, you're getting the board, then you're getting all the screws, then you're getting all the boxes to put them in, the cases, maybe. It's like there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. Sorry.
Yeah, and no, you're good. Yeah, it's, I'll get into it real quick because we do have one more response that I think is the best response from Key Cult. Hold on. So yeah, I did recently increase. For those wondering, if you're interested in the Squid 60, whatever time this is in the stream, this is where I'm going to talk about this. So we're able to. I was talking with Blind Assassin. I talked to this with my wife. Because obviously she has to share the space where the boxes go. And I was looking, and I talked a lot with some other people about raising that number, because I don't want people. This is not, the Squid 60 is not a board that I'm trying to keep from people, right? I want as many people to have the board. I think it's a fantastic board. I know Osiris really likes the board. I know IMEURU really likes his board. I know most people, Brez, I know, uses his all the time. I'm happy and I was very thrilled to know that people enjoyed it. And I want as many people. I don't want to be exclusive to everybody else. I want to make this. So I was like, okay, looking at the numbers coming in from interest check, and I was like, I can go up some. I can go up like 20, and that will also allow me to buy some more extras to make sure that people get some good quality boards up front. I'll have more extras to sell on the back end if people just didn't work out with timing and everything. And and I was worried. Luckily, I didn't really. Most people kind of responded to it positively, because upping 20 boards. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment.
That you thoroughly use all of the 2 bedrooms.
Yeah, that I use
There's
everything.
not extra space.
There's not a whole. We have our living room. We don't have a dining room. We have a baking area for my wife. We have you've seen 90%, practically half of my apartment from the stream, for the 24-hour stream. And I told her, I was like, there's going to be like 3 more boxes, but honestly, like, this stuff's going to get just pushed in the corner. And then I'm just going to have to go through them all. And it might delay it a little bit when it comes to the overall time it's going to take me to QC everything, get everything packed up and shipped. But what it's going to allow is more people to get in on this group buy. And that's what I really want at the end of the day. It wasn't a money thing. It wasn't a numbers game. I'm trying to get this board into as many hands as I can, because I think this is a good board. I think the Squid 60, I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy it. So that is the update. It's going live in 12 days, so just under 2 weeks, if on July 25th at 1 p.m. Central Time. So if you are interested, hit up !Squid, and that's my sale.
There you go.
Boom.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about this Key Cult response. I asked him, I talked to Riot on the Bay, and he said, I'd rather not give one, sorry.
Hey, you know what?
he goes in, he goes, I have a lot of thoughts on this, but to condense my thoughts into a couple sentences is very hard, so you can just use this as my answer. And I like that, because that just further indicates that I'm like, you're just, Key Cult still is just that like wild west keyboard guy that's making excellent stuff and keeping it close to the chest.
Yeah. No, they're like the blacksmith that's still doing everything the old way. They got like all the tools from like the early 1900s, late 1800s. They're just like chilling. Like, yeah, we do our own thing. We don't really worry about it. Like, it is what it is. And like that is in a sense of like, it is what it is, right? Like, at the end of the day, kind of who cares, you know?
Right.
Like there's always gonna be more boards.
Yep.
There's always gonna be more keycap sets. There may not be the exact same one. There may not be a round 2, but you can always fall just as much in love with a different board than you can with one that is available on Mech Market for like $2,500. Like the community, this community, and the people that are designing things are pushing this hobby way further from a design aspect in the past like year than what I had seen. And I went back and did some research than what had happened in the past like 2 or 3 years before that. Like we've come way further in the way things are designed and what is acceptable than what it was acceptable, 2.5, 3 years ago.
Mm.
Which is
it's insane. It's insane. I mean, the M60A was this like monumental shift in the hobby, right? There was this huge board. The M60A is kind of on the back burner and an afterthought at this point. Like, not many people, I mean, it's still going for decent prices because it looks fantastic. Because Rama did a really good job making a board that functions well and looks great. But it's as far as innovation, it's a not plate mount, but integrated plate. It's an integrated plate that's been around. That's a thing. It will feel exactly like it will sound different, but it'll feel exactly like any other integrated plate board. Very, very stiff. As stiff as you can get.
Is all the stiffness.
Also a good marketer. So yeah, it's I found out the other day that like a Baka sold, one of the OG Bakas. I did tell people, try and sell it around group buy price. And then I told people I don't care anymore. And I found out the other day that one of my boards sold for like a 60-70% increase. And I saw it and I went, cool. It was just one of those things that it didn't sit there and go, oh. Like,
yeah,
I wasn't sitting there licking my lips like, can't wait to price gouge this. It was like, it was a nice feeling. It was a good feeling of like, I'm glad that people are getting it. I will say to those who want to buy a Squid 60, buy it because you want to use it. Please don't buy it because you want to flip it. If you wind up flipping it because you use it and you don't like it, that's acceptable.
Yeah. If you buy it and then the next day you get it in, you look at it, and then you said put it on Mech Market that night, like, come on, dude. At least put it together. Give it a shot. Like,
I'll just come on stream and I'll just go for the first 2 weeks. I'll just have like a flipper finds. Just fucking call you out. No. But yeah, so what are the Mech Market prices? They're here to stay. You gotta have to get used to it. Hopefully you guys can get in on group buys. It's not necessarily a horrible thing. It does suck for some people who want to get in on these boards. All I can say is hope you get in. This is something that the artisan community is all too well aware of taking the L's, as they say in the sneakerhead community, taking your L's when you can get them and hopefully getting some W's. So yeah, the high prices, it's been around. It just hasn't been as
it's never been this much. Yeah.
It's not, some sets will sell for a lot, but then it's like, oh, now we've got like 30 people doing this, and you're like, holy shit. The keycaps still, I can kind of understand boards, right? The keycaps will still never make sense to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, there's no difference other than the color. So there's my 2 cents. This has been my TED Talk.
This has been my TED Talk.
So, is there anything else you want to say on the board topic?
No. I mean, Zoom wall, you're talking like OTDs, that's a different story, right? Like, that's justifiable, right? Like, if you can justify a board's price by the insane rarity of it and the like how old it is and how hard it is to get, right? Like, before a ton of matrices were in America, they were selling for insane prices over on Mech Market, but then they slowly Same thing with like Lin Wales. They were selling for insane prices, but then as more come over, they start to kind of normalize a little bit. OTDs, that's a board. It just doesn't. They don't exist anymore. There will be no more OTDs. Like the K Max as well. Like those are just going to be expensive. Like those that makes sense to me. Like it's like the heritage of it, like something being in great condition and it's really old. Okay, that's a little bit more acceptable for it to be expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that we've got boards that are like the Key 65, which are like good boards, but not like amazing. Or the Polaris, which is a board that's literally designed to be cheap.
Yep.
Not like in feel or in quality, but like it is designed to be an inexpensive board. And those are sold for $700. It's like, what the fuck?
It's a lot to take in, right? So we've talked about boards. Let's get into some keycaps because we did talk about some keycaps. Let's talk about a keycap set that probably wouldn't go for $600. So yeah, shout out to I would have put this in the title, but Wilson 1155 in our Discord literally threw this in our chat like 2 minutes after we went live. So we got some. So we talked about last week with GMK 9009 having some issues. You know, don't take it on the vendor because that's not something that's really like the vendor is not the one making the keycaps. Obviously, they're the ones selling them to you, so that's going to be your primary source of contact. But don't get angry. Just it's you'd be surprised how much hey, here's my problem. What can we do to fix this? What can we do to work this out? Question mark. Thank you. I know I know I have had at least a small conversation with almost every vendor. Let's have like KBD Fantasy Frontier, but every North American vendor I've had at least a small conversation with. Most of them have been on this channel. They will respond probably pretty quick and nicely if you just go, hey, here's my problem. How can we get this fixed? Thank you. They'll respond and they'll be nice about it and they'll get it taken care of. We haven't seen because that would be suicide if they were just like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, you want to talk about a company that would literally just buy if someone was just like, too bad, get over it. So, but yeah, we got some pictures. I don't know if it's up yet.
Let me make this one other thing go away. There we go. Yeah, we've got some pictures. These are pictures of obviously on drop. These are of GMK white on black, and it is, as you can see, I'll zoom in here in a second. There is a nice little chunk out of the black outside of the cap there, which is something that I have not seen. I have not seen that on a GMK set fresh from the factory.
Yeah, that's a gash. Call that a gash. That's a deep cut.
At least you know it's still double shot.
Yeah. I want to prove to you how double shot it is. Look, I even sliced this keycap open for you to be able to tell. I love it. Yeah, it's rough, man. That's, I'd be upset about the spacebar thing, which we'll get to in a second. I'd be okay with a couple things. This one, I would have a hard time accepting an alpha key. I would have a hard time accepting an alpha key that damaged. I would be sending a note being like, "Hey, I need this keycap replaced, please. Just let me know a timeline." Like I would. This is not something where I'd be like, "This is terrible. I'm not even mounting." I would, but it would just sit there and look at me. But yeah, this is something that I would absolutely go, "Hey, this is not what I paid for, and I need this fixed. I know GMK will fix it. Just keep me updated on when I can get this fixed. Hopefully." And now this is from the drop website, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully they're not sending this set out to somebody.
Well, no,
Yeah,
I
this
think
is-
this is a review. This is someone who purchased the
wow.
set and got it, and this was pictures that they did. And I mean, okay, this is not a scratch. This is a physical like gash in the keycap.
Yeah.
Like scratches we're used to seeing, right? Like used to happen all the time, especially like what was it? Triumph Adler TA90 was like
Yeah.
a set from a long time ago where like the trays like literally fell apart and caps were just everywhere and they were scratched to all hell. This is not that. This is an actual like chip of cap is gone, which I don't know if that happened in the tray. I don't know if it was like that when it was put in the tray, but that is like on a whole nother like, come on, man.
That's rough.
It looks like it got stabbed.
Yeah, it's hopefully we don't see this more. You know, this we're starting. GMK is creating a track record, right? It's yeah, Tommy Hong. We don't know if it's the potato tray's fault. You know, it's hard to tell. Anything that could have been from the factory like that. That could have been from the tray. It could have been put right into. I don't know if someone is literally looking at every key. I can't imagine that there is somebody literally inspecting every single key. So, you know, this is one keycap. So is this are there a lot of caps like this? Probably not. But when you're buying GMK, you're buying it because everybody in the world says this is the highest quality keycaps. We're starting to see that fail. I feel like, and not like, you know, I see the people that are like, oh, this is slightly it's like, no, this is fucked up. This is bad. Like there's a difference between like being kind of upset, but and then seeing something like this. So if you go like the spacebar one, that's pretty rough. It's like a fucking duck beak.
Yeah, the space bars are getting progressively worse. And I'm wondering how these are happening. And Andy J. Kim asking or saying, what if that happened when the dude opened it with a knife? That is highly improbable for that 9 key. Because like if you think about where the trays are set up, the 9 keys like more like slightly off to the center, right?
Yeah.
So like it's not even near the side. So it would have to be like there would have to be a puncture through the box and stuff.
Yeah, you'd have to. I mean, although I'd love to see someone just take a knife and stab right into
GMK
to open it up, but like it's possible. It's unlikely. It's most likely a problem that was from the factory. The other thing too, we didn't really mention, Drop doesn't QC these. Dixie, Novel Keys, none of these people open the packages because then you're not buying something new from the factory.
Yeah, so they're sealed from GMK and sent out. It's all that's done when it gets to your country is it's sorted and then shipped. But these space bars, this is an issue we've seen the last couple sets that have come out prominently. 9009, as we talked about, some people, specifically that really one dude, I think his name was Bob, was very upset about 9009 and his space bars. But these space bars it's getting worse. It's getting worse. I wonder, is it the high heat? Are they running the machines hotter to run them faster? Are they not letting the plastic set long enough so it's still somewhat malleable?
Maybe it's hot in Germany right now. Who knows? Heat waves. Yeah, if I got something like this, I'd be very upset because this will affect your typing experience.
Yeah.
This you know, the other one, that scratch, that's not going to affect your typing experience. That's a cosmetic issue. This is a functional problem that will prevent you from being able to use the space bar like you normally could. Right. And we already deal with a fucking Holy Panda problem where the stem is a little bit too high, so it makes it slightly uneven. You throw that in there. I'm like, that's unusable. So yeah, I know that the people say, oh, there are quick fixes to this. Absolutely. If you are willing to tinker, then go for it. But it's kind of one of those things. I feel like a lot of people would agree with me when saying if you're buying something that's brand new, it's not supposed to be like a tinker project, right? I know Cyrus and I have both bought things, so it's like, oh, I'll buy it and I'll work on it. I'll make it better. I'll kind of fix it up and, make it a little bit more new. But if you're buying something new, you're not buying it to be like, all right, cool, I'm going to buy this and then fix it because that's what I like doing. It's like, no, you want it to be perfect out of the box.
Yeah. Well, and unless there's like the intention of like you're buying it to mess
To
around
fix
with
it.
it. Like, to mess around with it, right? That's not this.
Well, and you're usually buying it at a reduced cost, right? Like if
Right.
someone had this set on Mech Market, was like, hey, I'm selling this for $60 because it's damaged or whatever, and the space bars are fucked, I'd be like, I'll fucking buy that for $60 and then work on the space bars and fix it myself because I'm saving money. And then at that point, I'm now going, cool, I'm saving $40 and doing like an hour of work to fix this, but I'm not buying it brand new and expecting it perfect, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Racing Jeff said it perfect. Let me buy a brand new car so I can tinker with it and so it'll work. Do you imagine buying a car with a bent axle brand new?
I was about to say, like, let me buy a car real quick so I can figure out how to make it to where the struts work.
I bought a car, but it didn't have spark plugs in it. It's brand new, but
I couldn't even drive it off the lot, so I just left it there.
I had to push it off the lot. It was crazy.
And then there's this one, the little nubs on the back of keycaps. I mean, that's kind of been a thing for a while. Like those have been there. That's not really like a.
I will say they range. This is particularly worse, but I think they range just by what cap set it is, right?
Yeah.
I've had great ones from 2 years ago. I've had horrible ones from 2 years ago. I've had great ones recently. I've had bad ones recently. I think it's just the cap set. I think this isn't something, it's hard to see. Yeah, basic quality control issue, I would agree. But the other thing too is that's something that's really hard to QC without scuffing the top of the cap. I would rather them come with that little raised, whatever we're gonna call that, the little raised bump,
little nipple,
little nip. But I would rather them come with that than someone try and fix it and then send it to me, and now there's like 3 scuffs on there. So, like, I mean, I can look at the top of mine, and this one is I think was 2019. Deep Space GMK was 2019, and it's really fine. I know my camping has some issues with it. They're a little bit more protruding.
Yeah, I mean,
Spur.
I'm looking at Olive right now, and I got the bumps. The bumps are there, and I can feel them, but I'm like on the back of the keycap, like you never see it.
Yeah,
and it's only
except the space, except flip spacebar, bros.
Yeah,
but
even then
you really, yeah.
Everything else is not as bad. So I don't know. I mean, Spruan
mark.
Words.
You can be upset with this, or you can choose to not look at it because you don't when you're looking at a keyboard. Unless you type in your keyboard back upside down, then we have a different issue. Then we need to have a chit chat with you about why you type on your keyboard upside down. But you know what? At that point, do you. I'm not going to judge you for typing on upside down, but I am going to judge you for typing on your keyboard upside down.
Yeah. So. Well, this one, the 9 key, rip that 9 key. Sorry about you.
Pour one out.
It got stabbed.
You know what, guys? Let's get a 9 in the chat.
9's in the chat.
9's in the chat.
9's in the chat for the 9 key.
It be like that, I know I speak for everyone when I say I hope GMK fixes their stuff. I hope they get their crap together. I know the other problem I'm seeing is like you see the bad, right? But you don't see the good because the good doesn't get reported because it's supposed to be good. In the last month, 5 sets have been shipping out. 5 to 8 sets have been shipping out. Probably closer to 10, honestly. And only 2 of those 10 we've seen issues, right? Cafe's been going out in Europe and it's on its way to America. Umbra, Phosphorus, Alter. There was one more from that list I saw from mykeyboard.eu, a lot of these sets are getting shipped out. We're not seeing a whole lot of issues yet. Usually when those issues happened, we knew about them before they even got to America because they started popping up. So, just don't panic at the 3 or 4 guys that are posting on the internet. Those are going to go huge. We're going to report on those because they get big, right? But if one set of white on black is scuffed and 999 other sets, that guy just got a bad hand dealt to him.
Yeah, so. He just got screwed because it could be the caps in the potato trays. It could be them rubbing against each other and something happened.
He could have barbarianed into the thing.
He just went full send.
New trays and just stabbed like a Bowie knife. That's just his mode of operation. His MO for how to open up keycap sets.
Thank you. That was the other set. Delta.
Thank you. Slept on set. I think I'm excited to see pictures of Delta.
Me too.
I think you and I both agree that was kind of a slept on set.
Pretty cool. In the month of the drought that was November. Sorry, of last year.
Yep. So yeah, Alter. I know Alter. Umbra was December, I think.
It was November, but then it went into December.
They went into December. Yeah. Still waiting on Terra. but I don't even think Terra samples haven't even been approved yet, so that's going to be another 4 months. But I bought a lot of Delta. Well, we're going to have a conversation after stream. But anyway, other than that, I think if you guys have any questions, we'll take some questions while I rattle off some awesome people in this community that help us out.
We still have one more thing we got to talk about.
One more thing? Well, I know we got keyboard of the week, but
we got the switches. We haven't talked about.
Oh man, dude, we've been going. See, we usually start at 9:30 on the keyboard of the week. We start around 9:30. I was like, oh damn, we're going through it. So we've been cruising, man.
We've been going.
We've been going. All right, switches.
I'm excited about this, and there's been a lot of talk. Top Clack talked about it last week. Jay was using them on Sunday, and that is the new Silk, and I can't remember the name of the other one, but dry switches from Novel Keys. They are JWK linear switches in 3 different variants of each. The Silk switches are going to be lubed with 205 grade 0, which is pretty freaking sweet because we haven't seen a fully tuned switch that's using like an actual like community accepted lube in a while. I think the last one was like the OG Panda, like the OG Panda switch that was actually really bad that people didn't like. So yeah, and it looks to be that they're good, right? It looks to be that what people have said is that they're going to be good. From what I've heard, it looks like they're going to be priced really, really well as well, which will really help. So I'm really excited for these switches. I can't wait for Novel Keys to release them. They should be up, I think, later this week is what I think is going to happen.
I think it was next week because they're like moving across the street or something, and they're not doing anything until like they're done moving or whatever. I read the email. So in the next couple of, before the end of the month.
Yeah.
So definitely check that out. Skeptical Chewy is skeptical. I think the Holy Panda I know it's a different factory, so I know it's
different factory, different lube,
different lube, all that stuff. I've been burned before. Now here's the thing I think this is fantastic for someone getting into the hobby, right? I think this is great because you can have that lubed experience where you're not having to be like, cool, I either have to pay someone a solid chunk of change, probably what the switch is worth, I'd have to pay them to lube per switch. So you're probably doubling how much money you're spending on lube switches, or you are trying to fumble your way through lubing the first time, and you probably don't want to spend a whole lot of money on a lube tray and brush and lube and all that. So it's kind of like soldering. It's like you don't want to have to buy all this equipment to try something out, right? I think it's fantastic that they're coming out with this. The only reason I'm skeptical is because of this Holy Panda thing, and I like to lube my way, so this isn't something that's personally for me. I think it's really cool though that somebody would come in and go, "Hey, why don't we offer something that we can try and do as consistent as possible and deliver this great product?"
But what if, okay, so here's the thing. If you think about like pricing, right? Logically, you would think the lube switches are going to be way more expensive. But what if they're like really, really close, right? Like, what if the pricing is like, at what level do you just say, screw it, I'm not even going to buy the dry switches, I'm going to buy the silks, right? Like, if it's only like a 5 cent variance per switch, then it's like, that's less than buying all the gear that I need to lube or refilling.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think for the beginner person, that's perfect.
But even if it's using the lube that you would use on those switches anyway, then like, what's the point? Just go, and then if you don't like it, then you could just take it apart and just throw a little bit extra on there, you know?
No, to me, it's like I'd rather not run that risk and just buy the dry ones. I think that the dry ones are perfect for someone like me who's like, I don't care. I know it's probably going to be, it's because I overlube my switches some because I like my switches to be overlubed. I'm also not going to be using, I'm already going to be pulling these switches apart. I don't really plan on getting these because I just don't have a board to put them in. That's not to say I don't think that these are great, and I think that you should be getting the black versions of them because heavier springs, but I'm also someone that's I'm going to be putting heavier springs in there. So if I'm already going through the effort of opening up the switch and putting in a different spring in there, I'm going to be fucking up the lube job on it anyway. So the dry one for me personally, but I completely understand your point of why would I, if it's
same
only
price.
Yeah, same. Okay, yeah. So there you go. I completely understand your point of like, okay, well, if they're the same price, then fuck it, I'll just get that and then fix as needed.
Yeah.
Like that's there. I'm sure there are the cases like myself where I'm like, no, I like to lube mine exactly how I'm going to. But at that point, it's just pick the color you want, right?
Yeah, because it's. I mean, I think if they are like what I was saying of like 55 cents each, dry versus lubed, it's like cool, especially if it's good.
Hey,
if it's a good
guys.
lube. Thank you, Exo Squid, for the tier 2 for 3 months. Appreciate that, man.
Oh yeah, dude.
But I think I was gonna say if it's an automated situation like he's saying in chat, I think it could be way more consistent than even what you could do, right? Like it may be one of those situations you end up liking it more.
Mm-hmm. So, Zumal asks, is it bad that I just outsource soldering and lubing to other people? No. If you don't want to, don't do it. If you believe that someone else could potentially do it better than you, then and you have the money to do it, fuck it, go for it. That's just one of the only other thing I fear is, and I've talked about this a lot, lubing switches is you're lubing the switch to fit your typing style, right? You're lubing it to what you want. So like it's very rare that you're going to lube one set of switches and go, this is perfect, because you haven't really tried a lot. And then when you lube, like, once you've lubed 10, 20 different switches and 20 different times, you start kind of getting that feel for, okay, now I know what I like. And so I'm worried, partially, this is like, foil on my hat, foil on my head, worried about like, I don't want this to set the like, well, this is the standard now. It's like, no, because the standard shouldn't be a thing. As long as it actuates, then if you like it, then it's a good lube job. So, but once again, I'm playing devil's advocate for these things.
Yeah.
Already.
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of people that just believe that it should be done a certain way, and then that's the best way, and anything else is suboptimal, right? Like, there's always gonna be people like that. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Of like maybe that person never finds out exactly how they really like a switch. But I think it's great. I think it's fantastic for people getting in. It plays into the line of that they've been going with the OSA caps and the PBT double shot PBT they've been doing, and the NK65 play super well into that. It's awesome for people who are just like, I just want switches that are lubed and I don't want to spend the time lubing them. I think it'll be great because I think a lot of people will realize, hey, these are awesome, and now I don't have to spend all this time, and they're not more expensive. Sign me up. Like,
Yep.
I'm definitely gonna try them.
At the end of the day, I think this is great. This is something that, as Chewy of Mechs on Deck, I fully support this. As Dave, lover of keyboards, I just doesn't do it for me. But I'm also a tactile guy. But I think this is fantastic for the community. I think you should, if you like linears and you don't like lubing switches, I think this is the right thing for you. And I think, yeah, like you said, it goes into that beginner experience, and it's something that I wish had been a thing 2 years ago.
Well, and I think I think it would be super healthy for the community if this takes off on both aspects, because like no switches are dry from the factory. This is the first time this has been dry, right? And then the switches that are sent from the factories.
I'm sorry. I can't wait for somebody to be like, these dry switches suck. They're so scratchy. Just whoosh. I can't wait for that.
But the thing that would be awesome, though, is if we got rid of these factory lubes that are bad, right?
Yeah.
That are crappy. And we started using
drop Holy Panda.
Yeah, we started using community accepted ones. Like if they started shipping tactiles where the option was 3203 or 3204, and then you could go in and tune it up how you want to afterward, right? You're just saving yourself a time, maybe a little bit of money. Maybe that 5 milliliter vial of 3204 lasts way longer than it would before. I think that's awesome. I think if we can get it to where the other manufacturers, the Gatorons, Cherry's lost, they're gone. They're doing their own thing. But like Gatoron to start doing this, like just make them dry, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. And the other thing too, I think you can kind of do is like, if you're just getting into the hobby, right? Buy like 10 of each. Just buy a pack of each. And you buy and then buy some lube, and then you can kind of test, right? You can kind of go, well, here's what this factory standard is, right? And then you can kind of go from there with the dry. You can see how it's supposed to feel. You can see how you're supposed to lube and try different things, right? And I think that's another great thing with these dry switches is that it gives people the opportunity to try things out, to learn, to figure out what you like. The best part about this hobby is building towards something you like, not, as awesome as it would be to have a fucking perfect key colt with perfect switches right from the get-go. That's not as fun, right? It took me 2 years to figure out how I wanted to lube linears. It took me 2 years to find my favorite switches and my favorite board and my favorite profile and all that stuff. Trial and error. And I think that's something that we have all these tools that are put in, like hot swap keyboards is such a great thing. We have access to lube stations, access to more lube in general, to give you the tools to kind of explore this hobby more. And this is something that is just another thing that it's like, great, thank you. I want people to explore this hobby more.
Absolutely. Makes it easier to get in, easier to start going, easier to understand what 205 feels like, because a lot of people don't want to spend the money on it either. So putting it out for 55 cents a switch, great deal.
Yeah. I'm fucking pumped for someone to be like, these dry switches are so scratchy. And just it almost makes me want to make a parody YouTube video of just being like, the fuck is this? So, but yeah, excited to see them. Excited to see what people like. I hope they do really well. My guess is they will most likely sell out within 5 minutes, if not probably 30 minutes to an hour, like the blueberries. So if you want them, keep an eye. Go sign up for the Novel Keys newsletter. Keep an eye on the store, on the newsletter, as well as maybe the Discords, because people will say that. I think that they will. I think they'll sell out very quick. So try and kind of be on that if you can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think it's about that time for the keyboard of the week. Time.
Absolutely. I need to. People are starting to post pictures. We had one last week. I need to like scroll up. All right, slow mode is enabled. I need to scroll up because someone posted. Oh, they took it off too. Someone posted. So we got what we were talking about right before
Well,
this. So keyboard of, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So keyboard of the week, for those who don't know, please enter one picture in our Discord channel under keyboard pictures. Please enter only one picture of your keyboard. If you can, please post the name of the keyboard, as sometimes it can be hard to decipher rectangles from one another. And if we choose, Osiris is going to pick one, I'm going to pick one. We'll vote for it on stream. If you win, your picture will be our banner on our Discord for a week. We're going to get it set up to where all the winners are going to start having their pictures in the slideshow on our streams, as well as you will get a special role in Discord called Keyboard of the Week, and you will be dark blue, and it will be hard for you to read on dark mode. But
yeah, why did it change from orange to dark blue?
Because there was already orange, so I was just I gotta anyway. It makes it fun and unique. So yeah, go check that out. And then we had a couple requests about changing up what kind of boards on there. So we were discussing. We've got some fun stuff planned for August. So while a lot of the boards that have won have obviously been very hype boards, very kind of hype beast culture boards, we're going to try and mix it up to try and make sure that we're not picking just the most expensive, prettiest looking board possible, and do some cool stuff with it. So
absolutely. But yeah, get your boards posted in the Keyboard Pictures channel on our Discord. I'll put the link in chat one more time. And show them off.
Shout out to Keeb Noob, by the way. Whenever I was talking to you earlier about food, so Keeb Noob, I've never had Pocky before, and she got us Pocky. And I realized I don't have to save you the almond one.
You don't.
I'm going to sit here and eat the almond Pocky, because I've never had Pocky until she sent it to me.
It's good. It's just like sticks with chocolate.
It's a little snack. It is. I couldn't have the strawberry one, so I've got a strawberry. I gave one hat, because I guess they come in two little packages, so I just kind of divided them up to give to Osiris, as I'll be seeing him the next week. I've got like a banana one and a strawberry one, and then the almond one. I'm allergic to strawberry, so Osiris is absolutely getting those. But yeah, thank you, Keep Noob. Already seen some cool board. That is a unique board.
Yeah. Elevations or Keep Noob's board that she posted is definitely unique. Definitely unique.
McEgg roll. There it is. That was the one from last week that was posted after.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So real quick, shout out to our sponsors. You can hit up mechsondeck.dixiemech.com to go pick up GMK nuclear data. It's an awesome looking set. At a pretty inexpensive base kit for a full base kit if you really like green. So go check that out, as well as being able to use the Cadet Alphas. So not a lot of sets running around with Cadet Alphas. So if you like that kind of style, I highly recommend checking it out. And then next up, we got Project Keyboards. You can go to mechsondeck.project.link. He has got the GMK. You'll have to enunciate it for me. Sumi. GMK Sumi launching here in the next couple days, the 15th, I believe. So Wednesday. So be sure to check that out. Keep an eye on that. Canonkeys.com/mechsondeck. Check out GMK Bread as well as SA Row 3. Existentially Yours. Thank you for the 50-person raid. But SA Row 3 Mizu by Canon Keys. So be sure to check all that out. Switchmod.net/mechsondeck. So I know Metaverse is going to be coming soon. I think he's got the Metaverse pre-orders up right now, so you can go pre-order some GMK Metaverse as well.
Absolutely. And I do want to give a quick shout out to our partners, Zap Cables. Head on over to zapcables.com. Pick up some of the best cables in the industry. Type Beast, go over to typebia.st, join their newsletter, figure out what's coming in, figure out some things, get some opinions about things. It's a fun read every time they release a new a new copy. And then last but not least, Smith and Rune. Go to smithrune.com. They've got merch. They got everything from coffee cups to sweatpants.
Hell yeah, dude. I might have to get some sweatpants. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. They got hats.
If they have something that fit me, I'm definitely going to get a beanie because I love me a fucking beanie. I used to wear that Stars beanie all the time on stream when it was actually cold, not 112 degrees.
Yeah,
Which, it felt like
today.
112 today.
But they also have they got some other stuff over there too. They're gonna have the Iron 165 like plates and PCBs extras. I think is either just happened or I think they're still up. So check that out. See what they've got. If you got an iron and you want another plate, maybe you want copper, maybe you want a different badge. Check it out. Pick one up.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys who have come from Existentially Yours' stream, let's hit ! Discord. We are doing we're doing our keyboard of the week. So go find your pictures of the keyboard, preferably what you've been typing on this week, and post them in the keyboard pictures channel, and we will go through and look at them on stream. If you win, your picture will be our banner for a week. It'll be thrown in our slideshow for the streams starting here pretty soon, as well as you'll get a special role in our Discord and some cooler stuff planned for later in the year. So be sure, join the Discord, throw the pictures up. Please limit it to one picture per entry. So I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah, we got some good ones. Get some of these open. Start looking at them here in just a second.
You know, Zoom Alt phone quality is getting better and better. So unless you're sitting there on like your Motorola Razr,
with like 1 megapixel, the sensor's like the size of a grain of salt.
You know, dude. You know, if you're sitting there, throw it up there anyway. We'd love to see it. We'd love to see what people are typing on. It's one of my favorite parts of the streams is seeing what other people come up with, because I always think that everybody else has a better way of choosing boards and keycaps than I do. And I like to drool over them. So
very true. Very true. Well, we can go ahead and get into it. We can go ahead and start taking a gander at these. First up, hello?
I can hear you.
No, I know. Are we back? Are we back on the stream?
And back.
All right. Cool. I don't know what happened.
Hey, it's streaming, right? That's what happens when you stream. Shit goes wrong.
Hey, right? That's just kind of how it goes. But first up, we've got a Key 65 with the GMK white on black, and then I'm assuming a black on white. I don't remember what characters that is, but it's some sort of extension kit. This is the Key 65 that has I can't remember the name of the option or what the actual character is called, but it's got the Asian lettering rather than just the Fox logo.
That's right.
This one is the way cooler looking one. The weight looks awesome comparatively.
Daniel, cooler Daniel.
Hengel, yes, Hengel Alphas. This looks great.
All right, well, so we do need to go back to Japiture. It said today at 5:44, so I guess you usually look for the ones that are posted, but we'll go back to it. The Timo.
We'll get that one here. We'll do it right after. What do you think of this Key 65?
I dig it. I wish I wish I could see. I like that the picture keeps it kind of a secret, but I kind of wish I could see it like in more daylight because I feel like I'm having a hard time. Maybe it's just because I've got lights in my face, but it looks great. It looks very okay. Now that I'm looking at it not on that monitor that's blinding my lights, it looks very clean. It's kind of got that Q vibe to it. It's got that. It's a very cool, just slick. Very like TGR 910 feeling. Very compact. I mean, at the end of the day, it's 65%. But you've got your Jeep, caps lock, and your split backspace. So I'm a happy camper.
Absolutely. Looks good. Next up, we got Mr. Japiture. This is actually, he is the Germany that's below is or the Germany that's above, sorry, is a prop, but the TMO V2 is his entry. Smoky poly with white on black hiragana. I love the hiragana. Just like the solo hiragana definitely looks so freaking cool.
I know you like this because it checks off a couple things. One, you like minimal key sets. Two, you like hiragana legends that are not sub legends. And three, my boy loves himself some polycarbonate with the brass shining right on through.
Absolutely. Those are all things that I enjoy. Although the TMO 50 V2, not a lot of people were too hyped on it. It was nowhere near as hype as the original.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 40s board, so it's already going to be kind of like a small group of people that are like, this is what these people are really excited about. I know a lot of people that have the first one and were kind of upset with the second one, but I think it looks really clean. I think when you do something like this, I think taking the key set really shines on this one because you don't have the numbers kind of throwing it off. It's just the hiragana legends and the icons. There's no numbers or anything to potentially throw it off. So, very well done. So next up, let me get some, looks like we're finally getting a little color in here as we've had only black and white. This just makes me think of Eiffel 65. So we got, this is a Satisfaction 75 GMK Voyage. So just blue on blue on blue. I have no idea what knob that is. That looks like a guitar knob.
It's like a rosewood knob.
Yeah.
Purple heart.
It looks just like a really cool guitar knob. Very clean. Satisfaction 75. I mean, it's keyboard of the year, right?
Yeah, I mean, looks clean. GMK Voyage looks good. Very blue. This is very, very, very blue. All of
and that desk pad is blue, so it's an aggressive board.
I know. So looks good.
This next one is by definition a keyboard. It's unique. It is it's got 2 J's on it from SA Laser. Yeah.
Keep Noob, what are these mapped to? Like, I want to know what is the functionality of this?
What are we doing here? It's from Keebs.net.
based
I
on a
mean,
cartoon. Oh, it's based off of a keyboard in Monsters Inc. Oh, that brings up the coolness factor. Like,
okay, that's
ton.
cool. That's unique. Unique New York. I mean, that's cool. It's unique. It looks cool. You can have fun with it. It'd be a really fun little artisan holder, right? You just have like all these random artisans in random locations. Yeah. I was whenever you said it was no, I keep saying Wozniak in my head, but Wazowski. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the guy. That's the one-eyed guy from Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
But yeah, very cool.
Makes sense. Makes sense now why it's called that. Mike Wazowski.
The real OG.
Real OG. Next up, Matrix 1.20G. GMK 8008, or as he listed it, Boob, with the nipple keys. Helios and the child.
The Space Goblin. Space Goblin.
For IP reasons, Space Goblin.
Space Goblin. God, just clean. Just clean. I wish you would just. I get why TKL users are all like up their ass about using the pipe key from the alphas, but I'm like, just give me a goddamn mod key pipe key. Other than that, this board is fucking clean as shit.
Yeah, it looks great. Like, it looks clean. I love the light bar on the Matrix 1.20G. It's a mouthful to say, but I think it just looks cool. Plus, I like the Space Goblin. It's so cute.
The Space Goblin is quite cute.
Space Goblin.
I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page. So next up's the KBD 19X with Lilacs by Delafin, the solder bro. Was this, I think Levidity said that the 19X was one of his favorite keyboards.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the KBD fans full size board. Not a lot of, yeah. One thing I do see, F13, man, ahead of their time, apparently. But no, I mean, it's clean. This looks like GMK. No, I don't think that, is that GMK?
No, I think that's the EPBT double shots.
Okay. Because I was like, the numbers seem reminiscent, but the alphas seem too big. EPBT, yeah.
EPBT double shots, I would assume, or just EPBT. I always look at the Windows key. That's what always gives it for me. The Windows keys on the EPBT sets are always the like Windows 8.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it looks clean. Looks good.
I dig it. And what did he say with Lilac? I bet that sounds good. If it with a brass plate, I'm sure that's a oof board.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Next up.
Oh,
yeah, you go.
I got it. You did the last one. It's my turn.
That's fair. It's fair.
All right, we got a TX87 SE built, lubed, and tuned by Ken himself. There you go. GMK Carbon with GMK Hangul extension kit on it. This looks clean. You got the orangish yellow LEDs going on as well. This is a cool board, man. You have the nice little board mat from TX as well sitting underneath it. I like it.
One thing that I think really rounds out this board is the F row. So the F row by tradition would be F1 through 4 and F9 through 12 would be the cream, the white, with F5 through 8 being the mod color. But it's actually kind of inversed with the accent color. And I really like that. I think I was sitting here for a minute trying to think of why this board looks better. Why this set looks really good, and it's because they've played with the traditional way of doing things, right? And I think that just really adds that kind of like it rounds the board out in my.
Yeah, it looks good. Looks good. Super clean.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got 2 posts by Deeds. Deeds, do you want us to go over this 60% that looks like a 5 degree, or would you like us to go over the other one, which either? So we'll go over the 5 degree because that one was posted first. It looks like a gray 5 degree with don't really know what set that is. It's a take. I don't think it's GMK because that tab is not
No,
GMK.
yeah, the fonts are.
It looks like maybe tie-how caps. I like the rubber WASD. I've never gotten a chance to use them, but I would try them out. I think it would be a unique experience. That's for sure. I don't know if personally it would be for me, but I would love to give it a shot. But Midnight Dawn.
Midnight Dawn. Interesting. It looks this looks clean. This you know, it looks good. The pink rubberized WASD is very striking. It really pulls your eyes to it. It's clean. It's a clean look. Looks good.
I like how it works really well with the artisan. So it's just it draws the attention. Got another WASD coming up.
Yeah, another WASD. Nice little Ducky 1-2 mini with lubed keys and weighted in the weighted back. How did you go about doing that? This is ISO too. Interesting.
All the things.
With a nice little custom cable. See, I feel like I was talking with some people about this the other day. People were saying that someone was talking about how there's a specific key that Signature Plastics supports for a space bar, but it only supports their a board that they manufacture that is like a regular box board. And one of the guys was saying, well, people that buy that board aren't buying keycaps. And I'm like, I'm sure there are plenty of people who buy like Duckies or like just regular like box boards that want to put a GMK set on it, or want to put an SA set. Like,
why not?
And like, cause look at this board. This board looks pretty freaking cool, and this board is only like $100, and he's done some modifications to it, put a little bit more money in it, and I'm sure it feels great. It looks good, especially for when you consider the price.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
And what's cool is you can tell that board is his, right? He made it his. He made it his. So, Oxygen Toxin, well done. So we got another shot of it, and a darker shot. I do appreciate the LEDs. I think when it goes with the color theme, like purples and blues work really well with LEDs. I have found. I think that anything outside of that, if you go into green and red, you kind of go with that. It has that like RGB gamer theme to it, where I think the blues, it just doesn't have it. So, but next up, and our last one for now, is a classic. This is our custom keyboards like poster child. This is a Keycolt number 2, number 1 OG with modern Dolch. So a number 1 Keycolt when keyless. It looks like silver with modern Dolch. Classic set, classic board. It's clean.
Yeah, I mean yeah.
It's clean.
Like Keycolt number 1.
Okay. Maybe the OG was OG modern Dolch. Although I don't feel like you would need Mr. Fropsy, I don't feel like you would need to point out, but nope, maybe it is.
No. Like
I know that's his board.
No, like because there was the number 1, there's the number 1 Rev 1, number 1 Rev 2. So this is like, but then there was also like the buys that were before that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got you.
Like the one Rick had.
Yeah. So that is our list. I know what you're going to pick, so I'm going to pick something different, but yours is probably going to win. So I'll pick this one. My pick is Zoom Waltz TX87 SE because I think the keycap set really brings that home, and I like the fact that it was built by Ken himself.
Nice.
But shout outs. I think honorable mention, and I will think of a way to get this into the conversation. Hands down, the Wazowski 2319 for most unique, hands down. That's just cool.
Yeah, it is. It is just cool. It's different. It's cool. It's fun. I'm actually gonna go with probably one that you didn't think I was gonna go with, and I'm gonna go with the Key 65.
Ooh, there it is. Ooh. Boom. There it is. So I'm going to get this poll up and running. Got the Key 65 by Mr. MKRank.com. So at least we have two different boards this time. Last week it was a whale and a whale. So
Draxian, we have gone over the dry switches. We talked about them. We're needless to say, we are excited. Basically, sum up, we're excited about both offerings, especially with the rumors of the pricing. And I'm hoping I will definitely be getting some. I'm hoping that they come out really, really well. I can't wait to get them in and play around with them. I think when I was saying in the chat that they had said that they were going to be 55 cents, and possibly the same prices for both, which would be insane. So,
would be quite dope. A little strange that they would be the same price, but it's cool that they are. But so the poll is up. It is in the chat. It'll be at the top if you're on mobile. If you open up the chat, it'll kind of appear at the top. If you're on and you are on full screen or something, it'll just be in chat. Be sure to vote Key 65 versus TX87 SE. So get your votes in. Let's see if old Chew Dog can pull out a victory this week. Have yet to win.
hey.
Even in the whale v whale, I was unable to.
I was very surprised that you lost that.
Yeah, I'd actually quite genuinely surprised as well. Carbon is, I mean, I don't really like orange, but people fail to remember that carbon's kind of what started off. Carbon and hydro started off that like standard keycap coloring, like colorways. So a lot of people, like to me, a lot of people relate stuff to Olivia. And like, oh, you just kind of do it Olivia with a different color. I'm like, yeah, but like Carbon did that already.
Yeah.
Carbon and Hydro did that, and Coniferous sort of. Coniferous did a little bit differently with the alphas, but which I think Donut Cat ran that. Please give me a round 2. It'll succeed this time.
I don't even know if Donut Cat even doing anything anymore.
I don't know. It could just be chilling.
That's the thing that sucks. A lot of these older sets are like by people that just don't do anything anymore. Like the key clack stuff, right? Like just doesn't do anything anymore. So muted will never happen. And so neither will SA Grand Budapest or Budapest.
Yep. No. Grand Budapest.
Budapest. He's doing EPBT Royal Alpha. Interesting.
Yeah. I remember him bringing that up. Just give me some GMK Coniferous. I almost bought it off of Nathan Kim, but it had the cracked stems. And while it was a good price, I was like, I want to put them on Zelios, and Zelios already kind of have smaller stems. So it can be hard to, like they already will have issues. So, but yeah, what do we got? So what do we got this week? I'm going to be building a Discipline 65, which I will talk a lot about tomorrow. It's in a box right here, but I haven't removed the shipping label on it, so I don't want to show that off. But Discipline 65 tomorrow, I'll be doing a dual build stream with Apiary. So come say hello, come hang out. That'll be fun. And I'm very excited. The switches are blueberry stems inside of panda housings. So I can't win, man.
Chat has made it a tie.
I can't win. Oof. That's the closest thing I'm going to come to a win is a tie. The ultimate tactility. What should we do?
I mean,
What do we do?
We just roll again. Just go again. Can't tie. I mean, because like realistically, what do you do?
Or we could add in a third
Appreciate all the
place.
content. Keep up the awesome vibes.
Give them one more option to give people a little bit more split decision.
A split decision. What's your third option?
My third option would be let's introduce some anarchy.
The Wazowski dude. Let's go.
Let's
all right,
introduce
third option. Let's go. All right, we're going again, boys and girls. So we got Key 65. Wait, I'll go through. So Key 65, white on black, black on white, Hangul Alpha kit. We got also Hangul Alpha kit with carbon on a TX85 or TX87 SE. And then we've got the Wazowski 2319 coming in hot. These are your options. Keyboard of the week. It's happening. Chewy's typing it out.
All right, there it is. So I still can't call it victory, but yeah. So I'll be doing that build. The blueberry stems inside of Holy Panda housing, or a Panda housing, will be very interesting. I'm curious to see how it will be. Are we already 17 versus 9 total on the other ones? There it is. There it is. So be sure to check that out. And then this Wednesday, gonna point fingers to blame on who fucked up looking at the calendar this week. I did accidentally say at first that Nathan Alphaman was joining us, but it is actually I'm making sure I don't mess up the name. Piku Alu is going to join us to talk about keycap design on Wednesday. So very excited to get him in here, pick his brain about GMK Dracula, about his new set, as well as making some of the best interest checks in the hobbyist scene.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. I'm really excited for this one. So yes, we will be having Piku Alu, the designer of GMK Dracula, coming on. It's going to be a fun time. So come hang out with us Wednesday at 8 p.m. And then, of course, come back tomorrow and watch Chewy get disciplined by the 65.
I already, the discipline was there. So while this vote finishes up, and at this point, the voting is finishing as a formality, as I'm pretty sure that might be the highest votes that any board has gotten by like 10. I believe it is my week to pick our who we're going to host. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
The most.
The host with the most.
Let's see if I can give you any.
I'd say Animal Crossing. I'm looking up games, like just a game, or I'm looking up just categories.
Animal Crossing is not a PC game.
Keyboard. Yeah, there's no keyboards. I was like, I want to do keyboard, but they're probably not sitting there at their keyboard.
I've got a buddy that's streaming some StarCraft 2.
Ooh, fancy.
His name's on Twitch is Rain's World. You actually know him. He was in a band with Kendrick. He was in Kendrick's band.
Rains World, Rains.
Ranes.
No.
World. All one word. Rain's World.
All right. So as we are finalizing this vote up, and boom, the Wazowski 23. I said 2329 and it's 2319. My bad. Has just broken every record. So congratulations, Keeb Noob. You are our keyboard of the week. Don't worry, guys. The Keycold White on Black TX87. I'm going to make a note to throw those in there if we do have at the end of the year a little bash. Being the tie, you guys will put your the pictures in there. We'll get your boards in there. So congratulations, Keeb Noob.
You know what's funny is I can see it now. The end of the year, we're going to do this big tournament for all these boards, and this one is going to win. Just for the memes.
Just for the memes and the dreams.
It's more than a meme, it's art.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you guys again. We're going to raid Mr. Rain's world, and we're going to hit him with the show us your keyboard and confuse him a little bit.
Yeah, he's gonna be a little bit confused because I don't think he knows about Mechs on Deck. He would know if I rated him from my personal channel, but not from the Mechs on Deck. But yes, no, I'm excited. This Wazowski board, I kind of want one now.
Right? It's cool. It's a little.
I don't know what I would do with it, but I've got 2 macro pads that haven't been plugged in ever on my desk now, and it add a third.
Absolutely. So, guys, it's sold out. We'll figure out. We'll pull some strings. I'm going to pull all of my Mechs on Deck strings for the Wicked Wazowski
2319.
So yeah, guys, let's hit them with that. Show us your keyboards. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to tune in tomorrow and buy a Switch tester.
I know.